Hello and welcome back to the next instalment of my Cornish railway adventure. So it's definitely brightened up a bit and we are now at Liskeard railway station. So now, as I said previously, we're going to go from here and get the Looe Valley line over to Looe. So yeah, that's about a half an hour journey. So our train is going to come in about half an hour's time. So there's two platforms here which are for the main line, and then there's the third platform just up and to the left, obviously to get the train to Looe. When you look on the diagrams, it's a very weird route how it does like a massive circle around, then goes back on itself. It's quite interesting, but nonetheless, so let's have a little look around at Liskeard. But before we do, intro, and then we'll tell you about the Looe Valley line, of course, facts and figures, you know how I roll. So yeah, welcome back once again to Down the Line.
The Looe Valley line is an 8 3/4 mile long line that stretches between Liskeard and Looe. The line opened in December 1860 and it has always had a strong connection to the locals and holidaymakers. The line to Looe has plenty of outstanding features and scenic views, which isn't surprising to learn that visiting numbers have gone from strength to strength since the turn of the century.
So I wasn't really expecting that, to be honest. Obviously, you've now a bit up to date on the Looe Valley line, and obviously Liskeard, but what a very, very pretty little station. It doesn't connect to the main station, which has surprised me a bit because I thought it would have just been off to the side in a bay platform, but you have to actually cross the road to here. It's got a lovely little heritage centre bit inside, which isn't open, unfortunately, but as you sort of peered inside, I couldn't get clear enough on the sort of camera lens, but obviously there's old steam pictures, similar to what you saw at Liskeard. Old steam pictures, a bit of the history. I really like that, and obviously it's in the sort of chocolate and cream, you know, the GWR colours with the signage. It's really, really cool. It really is. Like, for example, like that Liskeard sign, proper colours, not in the modern green GWR that we see, but then obviously it bends round there, and then as I say, you've got the typical end style there. So it does look really, really cool. So yeah, like I say, we've got about 10 minutes until our train arrives to take us into Looe, and I've got a feeling it's going to be extremely picturesque. So yeah, it's not going to be as long, it's about a half an hour train journey. Yeah, but we'll get as much as we can, and obviously bits about the station. So yeah, we'll wait for the train and onwards to Looe.
I was very surprised to learn that the third platform that heads to Looe is actually disconnected from the main station. Although, when you look at the photographs of the old station, you do realise that the line was actually connected, as visualised by this DMU here now. As you look around the station, it does have a very old feel to it and has a lot of information, as well as an old token counter. So our service arrived as a typical branch line in Cornwall on a class 150, and we headed off onto our start of the journey towards Looe. Our first station stop is Combe Junction Halt, which opened in 1896 and is only one of two stations on the network to this day to still have the word halt in its name. This is where all services do a reverse manoeuvre, but it's very rare that the train actually goes the full length into its single platform. You don't remain here so long, but I will now explain a bit more about this manoeuvre, and it does have a lot of interesting features in regards to the guard, who does have more than just his ticket inside things.
So what happens at Combe Junction Halt is it goes in, and then the guard has to get off and use the token to then reset the line as we then continue on. As you saw in the previous clip, obviously we diverged from the line that we came in on, and then obviously we're just waiting here for the guard to reset it all and then get back on, and we will continue. So in case you was wondering, that's what happens at Combe Junction Halt. So yeah, very, very old to this, and obviously at Liskeard, who's watching the old tokens setting being done, it really is like being in a bygone era. It's fantastic.
After discussing that there are only two stations with the word halt in its name, we now come to the second of those two, which is St Keen Wishingwell Halt. Now this station opened in 1902, which also shares a single platform design. There is also a holy well here dedicated to St Keen. This is about half a mile away from the station and does attract quite a lot of people to go and visit. Just over halfway now along the line and we reach our third station at Corland. Now you will have noticed that we didn't stop. Now that is because most of the stations along this line are request stops. And if you don't know what that means, you either have to signal to the guard, or if you're on the platform, you put your arm out as if you're signalling down a bus. That is how it works. But Corland, however, opened in 1879 and it closed 2 years later, but then reopened in 1888. So a very mixed start for this station, but it still stands as today's running.
This is the main link. This is an early.
All right.
So yeah, I started it.
As there is no request on this station either, we head through our penultimate station at Sam Place, which opened in 1881. You will notice that the stations along this line have different opening dates as opposed to other lines. However, just like other intermediate stations, they have very few facilities. But interestingly, Sam Place had its own goods yard, but this has been closed for many years.
My wife looked at fostering some of the problems she has, but there's no guarantee. It could be like maybe right over the road.
Now this section of the line has to be the clear favourite, and the view was boosted by blue skies and sunshine. Although after speaking to the guard, this part is liable to flooding when the weather takes a turn for the worst and the banks begin to burst. There is also a stop along here next to the road, which is part of a safety feature. Now I'm going to continue this on and just let you enjoy this very pretty view along the river.
And so then a short trip, there was 2 request stops that we didn't stop at, but we are now at Looe station, and I was just speaking to the driver, and she was saying that the Looe Valley line is one of her absolute favourites, and you can easily see why. What a line this is. We've got the estuary that we go right alongside of, and it's brilliant. So yeah, a little mooch around Looe before we sign off.
The terminus of Looe station was opened in 1860. But was considered unusual in that it was just a single platform and track with no loop for locomotives to run round to the other end of the train. There was also a sidings heading down towards the quay, which has been replaced by car parks. The line itself was also threatened with closure under the Beaching Acts, but thankfully this quaint Cornish branch line still stands today and is enjoyed by many people, including myself and my dad. I have to say that branch lines in Cornwall really do have a certain charm and hold their place extremely well. We really need branch lines, and they are crucial to local and holiday makers.
So there we have it, Liskeard to Looe. Fantastic line, as I have previously said, and this station is even though it's small, singular, it's extremely quaint. And to be fair, like I've just showed you, the view of that there, that's what makes it. So yeah, got an hour here before we head back the other end, and then it's on to the 3rd instalment of my Cornish railway adventure, as me and my dad explore the Bodmin and Wentford railway. So again, we'll see you in the next one, but thank you again very much for watching. It's nice obviously to be able to go to different parts of the country, and I've really been smashing it out in the last few months. We've been going absolutely everywhere, but nonetheless I'm enjoying it, and from what I've seen, from what other people have watched, you've been enjoying it as well. So thank you very, very much, and I will see you in the next episode of Down the Line as we visit a heritage railway. So something a little different, but I'll see you then. Bye bye.